What's up, Internet? It's your boy, Professor Jango.
Always a pleasure to meet a Jedi.
So today what I want to do is review the one-shot comic book Star Wars Storms of Crait. This book is a tie-in of sorts to The Last Jedi. It focuses on the location of Crait, which we've also seen in the novel Leia, Princess of Alderaan. But rather than walking you through the details of the story, what I'd like to do is just talk about a few character moments from this comic that I really enjoyed. So this comic book gives us a picture of Leia that's very much in line with the Leia of new canon. Unlike the way Leia was portrayed in Legends canon, new canon Leia is very much the princess in charge. She always has a plan, expresses her determination, and doesn't necessarily need to just play support to the male characters. However, in this comic we get a few interesting character beats with Leia. To start with, we see Leia arguing with Mon Mothma about where the next rebel base should be. In this comic, the Rebellion are looking for a base to replace Yavin 4 after the events of A New Hope. Mon Mothma has a few suggestions of her own, but Leia suggests that they check out the world of Crait, where she knows her father Bail Organa had a base previously. Leia intends to meet one of her father's contacts on this planet, and Mon Mothma questions the prudence of this plan. Leia, however, proves herself to be the one in charge, anticipating even the not-so-obvious betrayal that she finds in the comic. In the 30 or so pages of this contact, we see Leia as determined, Leia as incorrect, Leia as a failure, and Leia as triumphant. Even when her idea proves to be wrong, she always has the situation in hand, and that's exactly what I want to see from my Leia. The next character I'd like to discuss is Luke. So although Luke in this comic is coming off just having destroyed the Death Star, he's still struggling with his past as a farm boy. As Leia gives him different assignments as part of this mission, Luke feels like he's just being relegated to farm labor. He feels like he's getting all the most menial tasks while other people are doing the most important things. And while he's still far from the Jedi Master we see him become across the original trilogy and into the sequel trilogy, Luke uses his time as a farm boy as a way to become victorious in the situation. And even though his skills as a Jedi are still very limited at this point, we even see him face down a stormtrooper mysteriously equipped with a lightsaber. Just like The Last Jedi is very much a story of Rey learning to be okay with who she is, Storms of Crait is a story about Luke learning how to channel his simple farm boy nature into becoming something victorious. Next, let's discuss Han. In Storms of Crait, Han is very much the Han Solo we've come to know and love from the Star Wars saga. He has plenty of short quips, he plays the comic relief, he is flirtatious and brazen, and everything we love about Han Solo. At one point, he even finds himself in an Old West-style standoff at gunpoint with another character. And however you feel about the cantina scene in A New Hope, in this comic, Han definitely doesn't fire first, and in fact takes a non-fatal injury in the process, even though it's played off more for fun than it is for danger. The next thing I'd like to discuss as a character beat is the planet of Crait itself. So while the comic is called Storms of Crait, through the pages of the comic we learn to see exactly what those storms mean. Those storms take two different forms. First, in the form of literal storms that Luke can sense because of his time with sandstorms on Tatooine. The environment itself of Crait is very unwelcoming, although it can be picturesque. The other storms of Crait are the political ones and the betrayals that Leia finds there when dealing with her father's contact. The planet itself, just like in The Last Jedi, is a beautiful location that is a perfect backdrop for this story. And while all of these character moments are great in their own right, my favorite one comes from the character of Wedge Antilles. So as some of you might know from other videos that we've done on our channel, I'm currently reading the X-Wing novels by Michael Stackpole, in which Wedge Antilles features prominently. However, in this comic we see a much younger Wedge Antilles, still fresh off his limited participation in the victory over the Death Star. Although he struggles against the environment of the planet, he still finds himself and has his own triumphant moment with perhaps one of the best dialogue moments I've ever had in a Star Wars comic. So overall, I really enjoyed Storms of Crait. It's a good story in its own right, as well as a good tie-in to other novels and new films that we've seen in the new canon. Make sure you're staying tuned in to Port Haven's coverage of everything Star Wars, from news to reviews to interviews. Make sure you're following us on Twitter and Facebook and checking out our forums at forums-porthaven.com. We really are trying to be your Star Wars refuge online. And as always, I'm Professor Jango, just a simple man trying to make my way in the universe.